نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي يا ربي زدني علما يا ربي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My respected elders, young brothers, and my brothers and sisters, at this very moment you are sitting in the Q&A session which is held every week on Wednesday. Since it started, alhamdulillah, we have received hundreds of questions from brothers, sisters. Alhamdulillah, today also we have received a few questions from brothers. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it means of our forgiveness. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this Q&A session means of learning, seeking the knowledge. Today, the questions we have received. What is the ruling when one is reading the Quran in the masjid and someone decides to disturb him about worldly affairs? It's becoming a common behavior. The ulama, they say when you enter the mosque and you find someone sitting in the masjid reciting the Quran, then you shouldn't give salam. But if someone is just sitting and not reading the Quran, then you should give him the salam. Now, deliberately disturbing someone who is engaged in the recitation of Quran, this is a sin. Why are you diverting his attention from the Quran? He is already communicating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the recitation of Quran. Now, if somebody once has an urgent, need to talk to this person who is reading the Quran, then the Sharia says that the need is something that it makes things that are prohibited lawful. Need is something that sometimes, due to the severe need, something that was unlawful for you, Allah makes it lawful for you. I mean, if somebody is in such a place where there is no food and he is severely hungry, and there are chances that if he doesn't get anything to eat, he may die, and someone comes and presents something haram to him to eat, and he is allowed to eat in order to save his life. So if there is a urgent need to talk to this person who is reciting the Quran, then there are ways of to draw his attention. One is just sit in front of him so that he will realize that this person wants to talk to him, then he will stop the reading and he will talk to you. Or just place your hand on his shoulder, then he will know that you want to talk to him. But knowingly, deliberately, just want to disturb him, this is a guna. It's wrong. It's not only related to masjid, wherever one is reading the Quran. Whether you're reading Quran at home or you're reading Quran in the masjid or wherever you're reading your Quran, and if somebody deliberately diverts your attention from it, this is sin. So we should avoid disturbing people who are engaged in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Either they are doing the recitation of the Quran or they are in the another form of the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shouldn't disturb them. But if the need occurs for you to talk to this person who is engaged in the dhikr, then you are allowed to talk to him and you approach him. Wearing of face mask have now been lifted by the government. Therefore, should we still be wearing mask to the masjid? I heard that Islamically we shouldn't be wearing it now. First of all, just know covering the mouth in the prayer is makruh. This is a masala. Covering the mouth while you are in the prayer, it's makruh, disliked. Now here the question is having a face mask. Now the government has lifted this restriction now, but the COVID-19 is still there. If somebody now chooses to wear the face mask, he's allowed. Although initially it's makruh, but there is a need here to wear, and Sharia allows this. So COVID-19, although the government has lifted it, but the COVID-19 hasn't gone, it's still there. So if somebody wants to wear it, then he's allowed to wear it. And it will not be makruh for him to wear it because the COVID-19 is there. What is the ruling on praying whilst sitting on a chair? Well, first of all, just know that the sitting on a chair, it's only allowed when one cannot do the sajda. When one is in a position that he cannot do sajda because maybe he's got some knee problems or some other problem, he cannot bow. So a person who cannot do sajda, then he is allowed to sit on a chair and offer the prayer. But if someone is in such a position that he can't do sajda, he can do the sajda, then if he sits on the chair, he is not allowed to sit on the chair. Now the question is how one should pray while sitting on the chair. It's very easy. But sometimes when we see people sitting on a chair offering the prayers, we see all sorts of things are happening. The ruling is when you sit in a chair, you do the ima. Meaning, now sometimes what we do, we see people sitting in a chair and when they want to go into ruku, they just bow before, not only their head, they just, the whole body, they bow down. And when they go for ruku, they bow down a bit more. Now the masala is when you want to do the sajda and ruku while you're sitting on the chair, all you do, you don't have to move forward as people do. All you do, just for ruku, just bow your head a bit slightly down, and for sajda slightly more down. Just for ruku and for sajda a bit more. What you see in the masjid when people are sitting in a chair, when it goes to ruku, they'll be doing this for sajda a bit more, and this is wrong. Just your head, nothing else. Just bow your head slightly down for ruku and slightly more for sajda. That's it. And now there is another thing people do, and that is the people who sit on a chair, when they begin the prayer, they begin standing. And when they go into ruku, then they sit down. What should I do here? The ulama and the Muftiyan Kiram, they say both ways are allowed, permissible. One can sit and start on the chair, or in the beginning he can stand, and when he goes into ruku, then he can, when the imam goes into the ruku, so they can sit down then. But the better is you sit and offer. From the beginning you just sit down, you don't stand, you just sit and offer the prayer, in the sitting position. If I commit a zina with somebody, as well as asking Allah, do I have to ask that person for forgiveness too? Well, if you committed a zina without the other party's consent, then you have to. Somebody raped a woman, then he has to seek forgiveness from Allah and that person as well. But if it was with the consent of both parties, then the both parties need to seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from one another. The last and the final question is it haram to sleep with your wife if she is on her monthly period? If so, what is the punishment? Well, if someone's wife is in her monthly period, you can sleep with your wife. You're allowed to sleep with her, but you're not allowed to do the intercourse with her in that period. And if someone does that in her monthly period, if somebody does that, he goes so far ahead that he has intercourse with her in that period, then our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a hadith, he said, whosoever has intercourse with his wife while she is in a monthly period, he has disbelieved in that which has been revealed to me. So we should be very cautious in this matter. But a husband is allowed to sleep with his wife without having an intercourse in the period of her hairs, in a monthly period. He's allowed to sleep with her, but he is not allowed to have intercourse with her. It's haram. It is haram. And they say, whosoever has intercourse in this period, then more likely, if a child will be born, there are more chances that he will be disabled. Keep this in your mind. Keep this in your mind that if this happens, if someone has intercourse in this period, then more chances are that if the woman gets pregnant and the child can be born disabled. So, keep this in your mind. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this majlis and make it means of our forgiveness. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.